It's a thrill, as always, and I just wonder your thoughts on the lay of the land here in Georgia, because I keep hearing that all politics are national now, that it doesn't really matter where you land in the country. It's the same debate. Gas prices, data centers, left versus right. Is Georgia different?
Well, I think there's a lot of the same right here in the state. You just mentioned data centers. We had an approval of a data center in my county of Twiggs recently, and of course there's quite an upheaval of discussion about that. And of course other factors, at least that I'm involved in, that affect the state and affect us personally is the forest industry.
Yes,
We've had mill closures here in Savannah and Riceville and let's see, Cedar Springs. And so this has affected the forest industry quite significantly.
You know a lot about this, having actually gone to school for forestry, and you are the force behind Charlene Woodlands and Preserve, presiding over some 4,000 acres of forest land. Conservation is a story that has, in many ways, fallen out of the political discourse. Is it something you're keeping alive here in Georgia?
Absolutely, yes, sir. For me personally, we have 3 different conservation easements on our properties, and I think a lot of our fellow landowners are looking at this option. You know, look, we're going to have development in this country. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have room for that, and I think you just need to be very reasonable about it. And I think you do need to protect certain areas for, you know, wildlife, certain areas for recreation and so forth. Very important.
That really plays into the data center debate, correct?
Yes.
Because there's a competition for water, there's a competition for power, and for actual land. It's become the biggest NIMBY issue in this country, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when you talk about the power issue, one of the things that I wish we could get going, and it would be a good market for our forest products, would be using wood pellets for energy to power these data centers. As we know, they take enormous amounts of power. And so, you know, it may not be an end-all solution, but it could certainly be part of the solution.
Does there need to be a moratorium, as some are proposing, until these ideas are figured out?
I think there probably should.
Like weeds.
You know, Monroe County here in Georgia had a big controversy, lots of townspeople showing up for the commissioners' meetings and so forth. And they very wisely, I think, said, hey, let's hold off here. Where's the fire? You know, why don't we take a breath here and find out what we need to know before we approve these things. I think maybe they have approved one data center, but one that has been proposed is being postponed now, and I think it's a good idea to take a breath.
Yeah, interesting. So when you pull back from this whole idea, there's a question of whether conservation and alternate energy has fallen out of the debate since President Trump came back into office.
Yes.
He's not a fan of wind, we know that. He's not much of a bigger fan of solar, and we've seen stocks and companies that have made big investments in this area hurt quite a bit, making it hard for them to continue to invest.
Yes.
Is this a turning point, or just a dark patch for people in alternate energy?
I think it's a dark patch. I think that's going to turn around. I think it has to turn around, Joe. You know, you can't just depend on coal, and certainly nuclear should be a part of the plan as well. We know now that we can make smaller nuclear plants that are more community-based and not, you know, huge. But again, wood pellets and other alternative energy, I think solar and wind need to be part of it. I think it'll come back around. I'm confident it will.
Has Georgia gone too far into the data center hub business?
I think a lot of people are nervous.
Yeah.
A lot of people
I live
are
in Virginia, the data center capital of the world. Some think Georgia's next.
You know, it's all over this country. It's not just Georgia, not just Virginia. It's everywhere, and people are concerned. And look, I understand it. You know, you got to, if you're going to have all these things that AI supposedly will give us, you're going to have these data centers. I know this sounds a little far-fetched, but I'm sure you know this as well, that they're talking about having data centers in space now.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe sometime in the next 20 years that'll come about, and that could offer some relief, because let's face it, these things are huge. They use tremendous amounts of water. Supposedly the more modern ones, the newer ones, don't use as much water as some of the older ones do. But, you know, you're talking 1 million gallons a day for these older centers. That's a concern.
Oh, my God. You mentioned AI. As an artist, as the keyboard player in the Rolling Stones, as someone who's been composing music for years, do you worry about this creeping in on the creative side of your business, whether it's for writing? You could go listen to music from an AI band that
I know.
doesn't even have a real person, Joe.
No, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yes, we're all concerned. I like what Taylor Swift is doing. She's gone and sort of copyrighted herself, if you will, you know, protected her image, protected her voice, and so forth.
This is what you have to do now?
You have to do that. I think you're going to see a lot of bands and artists go that way. I think you have to protect yourself. We've seen what actors and writers in the you know, television and movie business have done, and I think music is going to follow suit.
It's become a big debate in union negotiations, to your point, in the acting world, and when it comes to writing. Does it potentially lower the quality of music? What's the fallout? Isn't more better?
It's an interesting question, and I don't know the exact answer, Joe, but I think it can be used to benefit. Let's say you got writer's block.
Yeah, right.
And you're trying to finish a song, and you say, well, how can I do this? And maybe you go, just like in the old days, you know, where we used to go? A thesaurus.
Right.
You know what a thesaurus is?
Yes, my favorite book.
And so, no, I think as a tool like that, you could use it to help finish a line or something like that. But, you know, this concept of creating a band or an artist that doesn't exist, that's weird, man. I don't know. I don't get that. I don't see that as I don't want to.
Can't imagine an AI band opening for you at the Fillmore. It would be pretty weird. You just wonder where the middle ground is here as we talk about the prospect of losing jobs, but also increasing efficiency and productivity, and maybe there's an equivalent in the music business.
Well, you know, here in the state of Georgia, recently our legislature passed a bill that would include an Office of Music for our state, and unfortunately, our governor vetoed it. But I think that could help protect all of our artists, our Georgia artists, and collectively, and connect our cities like Macon, Atlanta, Savannah, Augusta, Rome, you know, for music as a whole. So I hope that bill will come back around and we can.
You could have been the commissioner.
Yeah, there you go.
Get this thing together. Are you glad that Georgia's going to get a new governor? Is it time for change?
I think so, yes. You know, Kemp has been great for business, no doubt about it. That's wonderful. I would like to see him put as much energy in the music business as he does in other businesses. And I think that would be great for our state. We have such a rich history of music here in Georgia. Are you kidding me? James Brown, Otis Redding, Little Richard, you know.
Absolutely.
Allman Brothers band that I was privileged to be a part of, and so much more. So we want to preserve that history, and we want to continue that history.
Yeah, you've got a super competitive Senate primary, super competitive gubernatorial race, record spending, and I understand record turnout in early voting. What did you make of that? When you closed the books Friday, 1 million people, never seen that many in Georgia.
I think it's fantastic. I think people care. People want to have their vote make a difference, and they want to be heard. So I'm very proud of our Georgians coming out to vote.
It appears to be Democratic, by a good 15% Democratic turnout that drove those numbers. Does that give us a sense of what Georgia's feeling politically?
We'll see. That's all I can say. I don't know, but we'll know soon enough, won't we? I mean, here's the primary. Of course, we have the main election in November, and that'll be the big question answered. But I feel a little bit of a change in the state.
You do, huh?
And I think also throughout the country, you know. I'd like to see, I don't know, fairness come back around, you know, common sense come back around, love come back around, peace. You know?
Those are some different concepts.
I think these are things that are on people's minds, and we are quite divided. I'd like to see us come back together as a country. I think that's so important. Everybody talks about that. How do you do it? I'm not sure. I don't have a magic wand away, but I think we could listen to each other more. I think that would be a big help. So let's hope that we can come together a little bit more.
Well, I appreciate that very much. And in the spirit of that answer, we've only got 30 seconds left. Stone's got a new album. Are they going on the road?
Well, no immediate plans. I don't
Okay.
think you're going to see it this year.
No?
Hopefully
All right.
next year. Yeah.
Next year?
Yeah, hope
With
so.
this guy?
Of course, it's up to Mick and Keith and Ronnie, but if they want me, I'll be a part of it.
Man, I can't imagine. What a life you have led and continue to lead, and it's so great to have you with us here, Chuck, on Bloomberg.